What body fat percentage do I have to be to see my abs is a common question that I receive. Now, in my personal experience and the guys that I've worked with, it is around the 10 to 12% body fat mark. But the men that I speak with who are leading from the front in hours of meetings every single day, working 60, 70-hour weeks, and they've got families, struggle with two things: time and structure. So I'm going to show you in this video how to go from around 30% body fat to 10% body fat using our metabolic mastery method. So we all start somewhere on our fitness journeys, but getting to around 10% body fat is that common goal. A lot of guys want to see that sort of those abs. They want to have a bit more definition. They want to have that flatter, more chiseled stomach. So getting to that 10 to 12% body fat region is where you're likely going to achieve those goals of that flatter stomach, that definition, those abs. Now, what is important when you are looking to get to 10% body fat is actually understanding how much weight and how much body fat you actually need to lose. This is a part that a lot of guys overlook. So let's use an example where we are starting at 30% body fat. For reference, you can see this is what that actually looks like. So you might have a little bit less body fat than this, you might have a little bit more body fat than this, but this will apply to you if you are 20, 25% body fat. If you're 30, 35% body fat, it will apply to you. So make sure you stick around. So this is what 30% body fat looks like. So firstly, we need to actually find out our fat-free mass. Now what this is the amount of mass that you have on your body that isn't body fat. So how do we work this out? So you want to multiply your current weight by 0.7, because in this case, 70% of you isn't fat. So for example, let's say in this instance, you can plug your own numbers into this. But for example, if you weigh around 250 pounds, your fat-free mass is going to be 250 multiplied by 0.7, which is going to give you 175 pounds. So 175 pounds of you is fat-free. Now, that includes obviously like your bones, your muscles, skin, etc. So now you want to take your lean mass, your fat-free mass here, and you want to divide it by 0.9 to find out what your target weight is going to be for when you are 10% body fat. Okay, so target weight 175 divided by 0.9 is going to give you 194 pounds. Now what you want to do is you want to subtract that target weight from your original weight, your starting weight, your current weight. So in this example, it was 250 pounds. We want to subtract 194 from that, and that gives us 56. So 56 pounds. So what that means is we need to lose about 56 pounds of body fat to get to 10% body fat. Okay, that's how we've worked out how much weight, how much body fat you need to lose to get to that 10% figure. So for reference, 30% is on the left, 10% body fat on the right-hand side. So if you want to make that change and make that transformation, this is how we're going to do it. Now, roughly speaking, we should be able to lose around 2 pounds of body fat per week early on in our dieting phase, okay? Then after the early stages, we'll then look to lose around 1 pound per week after those initial stages. So somewhere between 24 to 36 weeks would be sufficient for sustainable fat loss in terms of losing that 56 pounds of body fat, okay? So around the sort of 6-month plus mark is what we want to be looking at, because we want to do this sustainably. Far too many guys try that very quick fix and end up back at square one because it wasn't sustainable. So we want to do this sustainably. Now, I personally know from experience what it is like to lose lots of body fat whilst building lean muscle. As you can see, the photos on the left, that was me. I had a lot of body fat around here, a lot around my face, and I went through my own transformation to build muscle at the same time losing that body fat that I had. But it's not just myself who I've helped. I've helped over 700 men do this, all using the metabolic mastery method to get in the shape of their life. So I want to show you how you need to train and how you need to diet to drop the excess body fat. We've worked out how we figure out how much weight and how much body fat to lose, but I want to show you exactly how to do that. Okay, so I want to show you how to diet, how to train, to build muscle, to lose body fat using the metabolic mastery method that we've used with over 700 men. So step one, you must understand calorie intake. You won't get anywhere without this. So you have to understand how many calories you need to consume to lose that body fat and build muscle. So there are many detailed calculations on this online, but for simplicity, we're going to use this one. You can just plug your numbers straight in and work this out. You want to take your body weight in pounds, multiply that by 15. Now that's going to give you your maintenance calories. But maintenance calories is if we eat those calories, we're going to stay at the same weight. We want to lose body fat, we want to lose weight. So you want to get yourself in a reasonable calorie deficit. Now that calorie deficit is just less calories than your maintenance. So in this example, we're going to subtract 700 from our maintenance calories to put us in that pretty reasonable calorie deficit where we know if we start eating here, we're going to lose the weight we want to lose. Step two, this is very important because we don't just want to lose weight, we want to lose body fat. So we need to work out our protein intake. So you want to consume or aim to consume around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. However, if you have a lot more weight to lose and a lot more body fat to lose, which at 30% of body fat, you might do. So therefore, around 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight would be good. Now, I use this kind of like sliding scale here to show you what I'm talking about. In an ideal world, realistically, we want to consume around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. But like I said, if you have more body fat and more weight and more mass to lose and you are a heavier individual, drop the protein down to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight, because you don't want to be, look, if you're like 300 pounds, it's going to be tough for you to eat 300 grams of protein. So go at about 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. However, if you are a little bit leaner, you have less body fat to lose, you actually have more muscle mass, then you can slide up the scale and go to around 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. But a safe bet for most guys, 90% of the guys out there, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is going to be sufficient for you. Step 3 is our resistance training. We've worked out our calories, we've worked out our protein intake. We now need to make sure that we're training the right way to effectively lose body fat and build muscle. With our members who are time-constrained professionals, who are working busy jobs, they've got families, they are working 60, 70-hour weeks, we use our metabolic mastery method. So that is 3 metabolic strength-based workouts per week, 45 minutes each. That is it. You do not want to be wasting time doing 6, 7 days of training each week, 2 hours in the gym. You do not have time for that. So we use targeted, efficient workouts designed to build that lean muscle, torch the body fat without wasting time. So there's no hours of cardio. They're short, sharp workouts that demand results. And this worked for someone like Stu. Here's a photo of me with Stu, one of our members. He runs 4 businesses. He has 2 kids and he's 41. He is up against it. He's limited on time. He has got a lot of obstacles and there are many excuses that Stu could have made. And it is impossible for him to train for 2 hours, 6 days a week. So we used our metabolic mastery method with Stu and he's got in phenomenal shape. He has smashed it, dropped around 22 pounds of body fat, built muscle, and he's in Superman shape. But the key principles of these training sessions are going to be progressive overload, training intensity, and training accuracy. Progressive overload is effectively where you are looking to increase your reps or increase your weight each week. So you want to be tracking your weights and tracking your reps, and then each week looking to improve, and every week looking to get stronger. That is key. Without that, you aren't going to build the muscle that you want to build. You're going to have that sort of soft, flabby, skinny look that we don't want. Then training intensity means that you basically need to do more than just going through the motions. Far too many men just literally do 3 sets of 10 each exercise and move on to the next one. Barely showing any sign of intent, barely, breaking a sweat, barely looking to actually train to failure, because that's what we need to cause that muscular adaptation. So you must train with intensity, looking to challenge yourself, looking to push yourself, reach that point of failure every single set. And then training accuracy is vital. It is all about the execution, making sure you perform your movements very, very well. If you are just ego lifting, throwing heavy weight around for the sake of it, and you're not actually moving the weight from A to B with the muscle we want to be using, you won't build muscle either. We're not powerlifting here. Powerlifting is moving the weight from A to B as quickly and as fast as possible and actually making it easier for yourself. We want to actually make it harder for ourselves. So train with accuracy, train with execution, slow things down. Okay, that's going to help you build that muscle that you want to build. Step 4 is expenditure. So you do not need to chase the mythical, magical 10,000 steps every single day to see results, but you do need to move more than you currently are. Now, most of the busy guys that we work with who are very sedentary, they're working in an office, they're sat down on Zoom, Teams, meetings all day, they are going to struggle to get 10,000 steps in. And we know that. What we actually find with these guys is their average is actually only around 4,000 to 5,000 steps anyway. So even if we just look to bump that up by 1,000 to 3,000 steps, which is going to be 30 minutes, 45 minutes of additional expenditure each day, that is all, they're going to see significant changes. So you can work this out by going to your health app or your steps app on your phone. If you have a smartwatch or a Fitbit or whatever it is, that will track it for you. But you just want to look at what your daily average is. You can see that on the app. You can see how many steps you get on a daily basis on average. Then you want to take that and just look to increase it by a little bit. Don't try and jump from 5,000 to 10,000. Jump from 5,000 to 6,000, 7,000, because that is still going to have an impact on your ability to drop body fat. So please do not just do hours of cardio. Just look to simply increase daily movement, your low intensity movement every single day, because that is going to really, really help. So that is a brief summary there of how to get to 10% body fat. We've walked through how to work out how much weight you actually need to lose. And we've walked through training, nutrition, diet, methods, and expenditure to obviously get to 10% body fat. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, I really want to lose the belly fat, I really want to build lean muscle and actually look like you lift, but you want to do that without sacrificing real life, without sacrificing family time, your freedom, your work, your business, your career, then there's a link below this video with a free video walking you through the metabolic mastery method in more detail so you can go and apply it for yourself today. This just walks through the methods that we have used to help over 700 high-performing men get in the shape of their life without, restricting themselves, without hours of cardio, without impacting their real life. So click the link below, watch that video, completely free. But if you do have any questions, drop them in the comments below, or you can head over to my Instagram and DM me there. at Harry Knight's Coaching, because I spend a lot of time in my inbox messaging guys every single day, replying to questions, replying to any comments. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a message there. But like I said, the video below this one is really valuable. It walks you through everything in its entirety about the metabolic mastery method and how we can help you get in amazing shape. So hopefully this has been useful. Make sure you like, drop a comment below if you have any questions, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.